Man with the light in my eyes. Cool. I saw you today already, didn't I?
Yeah,
all right, we can get round two.
You'd mentioned up there that it's an earlier fight. For you, how did that factor into like your training at all? Do you have to train to peak earlier in the day than you would later at like nighttime when you usually fight?
We train all day long. Coach Joey, Danny, Coach Holdsworth, Faber, all those guys at Team Alpha Male get us ready to fight any time of the day because that's what the fight game is all about. You got to be ready at the drop of a hat to perform. Especially going in the Lions Den. You know, we're coming into Jim Miller's home state, so we're expecting, you know, it won't be the first time, or sorry, it won't probably be the first time we get some boos in the crowd, you know what I mean? But I bet by the end of this fight, everyone's standing and cheering for more for both of us because Jim's one of the hometown guys. He's one of those heroes out there, too, in the sport of mixed martial arts. So I'm looking forward to a great fight, whatever time it is.
What about, you know, the recovery from the weight cut, too? Like, usually you get till nighttime, but now it's just the same thing, but a few hours early. It doesn't matter as well.
You know what? Since I'm the smallest lightweight in the division, I don't even cut weight. I was 4 pounds over today, so I'm ready to go. I could go jump on the scale tonight if we had to, so we're ready.
Do you rule at 145 for good at this point?
I'm a 155er, man. I'm a lightweight for life. Maybe 170, you know, some of those lazy, chubby guys at welterweight might get a beating someday.
How important was it for you to have a moment like that with the fans, getting them up on stage?
That's what it's all about. You know, I was telling my coach, I don't care if there's one kid out there, if there's one adult out there, the fact that they probably sat in traffic and drove out here, you know, on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening to come out and support us, that's what it's all about. It's about putting yourself out there for the fans because they're the ones that pay our bills. They're the ones that are screaming. They're the ones in the on the crowd that are, you know, they're spending their hard-earned money on the pay-per-views, on all these fights, and man, that's why I fight. I fight for the fans.
You and Jim are two of the most experienced guys in the UFC. Is it kind of weird that you guys have never fought? It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, you know, the old saying I've said before in interviews, better late than never. You know what? And Miller and I were on a collision course for the last decade, you know what I mean? I started my UFC career in 2006 at UFC 64. I believe he was at UFC 68. And he's the only one who's got more fights than me, which just shows you how busy he has been, you know what I mean? And fighting the who's who. He hasn't been fighting C-level fighters. The guy's been fighting the top dogs in the division for over a decade. There's a lot to be said for that. So the fans are going to get what they deserve. Long time coming.
Between you two guys, not only are you guys super experienced, but you two are some of the most exciting fighters in that weight class. What are you expecting out of Saturday? Do you expect a war with Jim?
Absolutely, man. He's been in so many fight of the nights, so many submission of the night, so many bonuses, you know what I mean? Combined with myself, I think they were saying that we have like 60 combined fights or something like that. That's just, it's unbelievable, you know? But I feel like I just made my UFC debut walkout, you know, a couple years ago. So we're still growing in the sport. We're improving every day, every camp at Team Alpha Male. You know, my coaching staff has got me dialed in, and fighters say it all the time, but I truly mean it. This is the best I've ever felt at 155 at the ripe old age of 37. You know, I still got a few years left in me.
But both of you guys are outdoorsmen. You know, you fish a lot, you hunt. Any chance after the fight you guys do something together?
I hope so, man. I'm looking forward to it. Jim's always been one of the good guys in the sport, and the outdoors brings people together. So definitely would love to get on the boat with him, and maybe he can show me how to hold a rifle someday. You know, shoot some stuff. So I'm down for that too.
And if you get a win here, you'd be 4-1 in your last 5. Pretty solid record since moving up to lightweight. Is the title still in your mind? Is that something you're building towards?
Yeah, people, you know, counted us out a long time ago, man. But you know what? A lot of people never thought we'd make it this far in the UFC. A lot of people never even thought I was going to be in the UFC. So we're still here. We're still plugging away for that gold.
Like, what do you think the key has been to that longevity? How have you been able to stay in the UFC?
You know what? The key to my longevity is just, you know, being durable, being tough. Wrestler tough. We're built different than any mixed martial art. We're built differently than any martial artist or discipline out there. You know what I mean? Wrestlers are. We really are. We're just tough, man. It's that simple. I recover better than I used to. My training staff, they've got me on point. You know what I mean? We have calculated workouts. You know, I'm not just going out there and, you know, sparring all day long. You're going out there and strength conditioning all day long. We have calculated workouts, so we're dialed in for every camp. And I'm better now. I'm in better shape than when I was 21. I'm in better shape when I was 25. And they say the male peaks in the mid-30s. I'm pushing 40, and I feel better than ever.
What do you think Jim's biggest threat is to you? How are you going to overcome that?
Oh, Jim's tenacity is a threat to everybody. But people know how I fight. and we mirror each other a lot. But he's never been in there with an animal like me. He's never been in there with a Tasmanian devil.
What can you say about the evolution of the UFC over the past decade or so? Have you seen other fighting styles?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I look like a caveman out there more and more every time I see these young up-and-comers or these guys in their mid to late 20s are just doing things that I never thought I would see in a cage. Kickboxing and striking has really come to the forefront of mixed martial arts. I hate to say it, but the mixed martial arts is more of a stand-up game now, and I feel like the grappling game, jiu-jitsu, wrestling is a lost art, and I'm here to bring it back. You know what? One of my goals in the UFC is to have the most takedowns. I think we're like 3 or 4 on the list right now, and not bad for a kid that was a junior college wrestler. So one of my goals is to have the most fights in the UFC and to have the most takedowns in the UFC, and we're well on our way to both.
To follow up on that, both you and JMR are really shine on the ground. You guys are really primarily known as grapplers. Although your styles are different, do you think you'll have the advantage on the ground?
Yeah, you know what? No one gets in better scrambles. No one gets out of better scrambles than I do. I've been taken down. I've gotten up against everybody. I've taken almost everybody down in a fight except my teammate Chad Mendez. He's a different kind of athlete, but expect to see some time spent on the canvas and expect Jim to be on his back.
BJ Penn was recently announced as getting back in one more time. You were the last guy to tangle with him. What are your thoughts?
BJ is just a pure island warrior. What an animal that guy is. I don't know. I can't begin to say enough good things about him. I tell you what, after that, I've been in losses where I haven't been as banged up as I was after that fight against BJ. He cut me here, here, and here, and that dude still hits hard. You know, he was the king of the division. He was the king of the UFC for so long for a reason. He was one of the first 2 division champs. I believe him and Randy Couture might have been simultaneously when he was at 55 and 170. And there's a lot to be said for that. You know what I mean? BJ's one of those guys who's got no quit in him. And he's just so darn tough. And you can't keep a guy like that down. He's going to compete until his limbs fall off. And you know what? You can't fault a guy for that. So good for BJ.
Anything else? All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you.